Right, I just thought I would make a video and show everyone the rust on my Mazda MX5. I knew it was rusty in the usual places, but there will also be some surprises. I've just spent a few hours poking around with the poking stick, and I'll show you what I found. Let's get the poking stick. I've taken the front wings off to get a better look, but we'll start somewhere that's not usually on the list for these cars. So we'll start in the boot, and you can see in the boot the battery usually sits here, and there's been some sort of acid leak that's eaten into this section here. This is the wheel arch. It's come totally away. I've been able to poke this entire section out here, including this is the top of the quarter panel where it meets the bumper. There's you can see the daylight through there. That particular piece comes out. You can see there's the end of the poking tool coming out through the boot, and it also comes out on that level as well, so it's perforated there and there, and you can see filler. So that's the first bit. If we look into the wheel arch, you can see the full extent of the problem. So this is the wheel arch liner, which is actually also acts as the rear mudguard. You can see that it's totally come away, and this was actually held on with a bunch of silicone sealant, and you can hear it's still extremely crusty and very weak, which it must have been. They don't usually rust here, but it must have been battery acid that did it. So moving on to the usual places. So I've taken out the wheel arch liner here to get access to this section. I knew it had filler in, but I've done some poking. This section is quite solid. It's obviously got quite a lot of surface rust. If you look inside here, it's actually, I don't know if you can see, you can see little pieces of welding rod in there, and inside it looks like the inner sill is reasonably okay, but there is a lot of rust on the bottom. When they did the repair, it's kind of a bodge repair, when they did the repair they didn't put the seam in here, and when I've poked it, it's full of filler and rust. The bottom of the door, you see there's a lot of corrosion there. If I were to press that with the poking tool, in fact, you can see that it just comes away. The worst of it, and what makes this not an economical repair, is the rust here and also on the bottom of the floor. So I'll just show you that now. So here we are underneath the car. You can see that you have the back of the sill here. There's the jacking point in this section. You can see that I've been able to, and it's still crusty, been able to stick a tool through there. This is the floor of the car, and then the sill here, which is just totally perforated. I've got a hole here, extensive holes here, so we're now halfway along the driver's door. This is a previous repair, a patch, and then more perforations there. There's also, you can see, again, huge sections of the floor missing. If you look up, if you can, this part actually doesn't seem too bad. But again, the floor is just, it's gone on my face. If you just touch it, it just drops to pieces. You can see that the frame rails have been crushed at some point, and they've been covered with some sort of sticky underseal, and on top of that there was also filler, which when I was able to press it, it just came away in chunks onto the floor. let's have a look. So the holes extend all the way to the front of the car. So this full outer, this inner and outer sill, and the floor would have to be replaced here as well. This is the front sill. It's actually not too bad. There's some surface rust, but I haven't been able to put a tool through here. I've just cleaned it up slightly. So we'll have a look at the other side of the car now. Again, I've taken the wing off just to give a good look at the front of the sill. There was a lot of surface rust, which I've cleaned up a little bit just with a wire brush. And you can see that I'm able to put a hole through here, so this sill would need to be replaced. Strangely enough, there's a hole here, just where the passenger door starts. There's a hole there. I don't know how that's happened, because the rest of this section here is quite solid, and indeed the floor behind it is also quite solid. This part of the sill, again, on the passenger side is a lot better. There has been a repair because there's no seam here, but it's remained more solid. On the frame rails we have the same problem where it's been crushed and then filled with filler. This time it was a lot of sticky silicone type stuff, which I've been able to pull a lot of that off. So looking at the passenger arch now, you can see that there's corrosion coming through here. You can't make a hole in it with the tool, so it is still quite solid, as is this panel here. I haven't taken this off because after the other side I didn't really see the point. Clearly this section here is full of filler, but it's a lot stronger than the other side. The biggest problem is in the actual arch itself, which is a lot worse than the driver's side. This was bubbling, and I poked it, and I'm able to make a hole totally through this, through the inner arch, and it's just crumbling. This was the area where it had rotted away on the driver's side. This is totally solid, no problems at all here. Finally, in the boot, some of the small areas of corrosion. I could see here, this is where the deck plate sits. There's water been getting in here and causing a problem. Water also looks to have caused some corrosion here. You can see that it's starting to bubble through there. If you lift the boot seal, there's corrosion along here. This would have to be cut out and replaced, ideally. Underneath, you can see that there's a lot of corrosion here, and it looks as if at some point somebody's perhaps patched it. I'm not too sure. Again, with the problem with the boot floor, I don't know whether this area here has. So thanks for watching, and I hope this shows you where to look for corrosion in your MX5 if you're looking to buy one, or if you're looking to perhaps assess your own for suitability to repair. So this car would be not too bad to repair. It would be more of a standard repair if the corrosion was just limited to this section and also this sill. The fact that it extends the full length of the car wouldn't be so bad if it was just on this side of the sill, kind of like the outer section. The fact that it's in the floor, that's where you have to fabricate the panels, and it costs a lot of extra money and time. You can't buy pre-made panels for that section, and also this boot floor here and the arch, this would have to be totally built by hand, and it's significant craftsmanship to make that section. So to repair this car, I think, would be thousands, really, unless you've got the skills and equipment to do it at home yourself. But anyway, thanks for watching.